Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, how dare you, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also below this video, you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Neil, 10th Man, Brian's Logic, Chocolate Sane, Father of a Stolen Child, Sleeping Warrior, and a whole bunch of people in Discord, so welcome one and all.
Good morning, good morning.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning. Let's kick off with housekeeping. Any evidence of a physical geometric sphere edge? That's a horizon, formerly known as the curve of the Earth. It used to block this lighthouse at Isle of Man.
Does
the
it
lighthouse.
have to be a visible one?
Yeah, the Earth curve geometric horizon formally blocked this lighthouse by way of an assertion that required mathematics with a tangent to the Earth curve horizon that was claimed to be proven by the debate we had over this lighthouse. Now, that Earth curve obstruction, bulge, that got in the way of the lighthouse, according to the people who claim we were on a sphere, doesn't exist anymore. That blockage that used to block this lighthouse. Hey, man, should we mention this lighthouse, Anthony? Maybe it's a killer globe proof, this lighthouse. What do you think? I don't know, like, I'm not really paying attention. Oh, Anthony,
Perfectly on cue as usual.
Shit, sorry, I was on mute. I'm sorry. Yeah, we should mention it because it can be seen from the beach at St. Bees. It's practically 200 feet above the water, and it should be 700 feet behind the Earth curve, and there should be a wall of water between you and it, stopping you from seeing it. But in the real world, it doesn't happen, and it debunks their model. They just don't like it.
What you've just done, Anthony, is given a rendition of what they claimed back in the day when we were debating the Isle of Man. There should be a physical geometric sphere edge horizon blocking our view of it. That doesn't exist anymore, Anthony. That's Earth curve, and it doesn't exist. That geometric tangent point they drew to it to claim was getting in the way of it doesn't exist anymore.
Correct.
So when they claimed that the Earth was getting in the way of this lighthouse, that's all now void. Watching this live at 8:15 UK time this evening, I will release a video about that very breaking news. All globe calculations are now void. And they're void because of the very public highlighting that Conspiracy Cats has given to the fact that the begging the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator formally blocked things with its Earth curve horizon geometric obstruction. And every fundy on the globe side of this argument is currently denying that that even exists. Earth curve doesn't exist. Hashtag thanks, cats. Hey, Alwyn.
And thanks, Ranty, and thanks, Ruben. Thanks, guys.
So where did they go from here?
They haven't got Earth curve. Earth curve is dead. There is no Earth curve. Every time they try and assert it, they've got to assume a physical geometric tangent point to do the maths to claim that the horizon's getting in the way of stuff, and it's no longer a physical obstruction. They've spent the last 12 months telling us how non-physical the horizon is. Therefore, not Earth curve, not a tangent, not getting in the way. Earth curve's dead.
They're going to go to space now.
No,
Hello, guys.
That's right. So,
Hey, Arwin.
hey, Arvin. So where did they go from here when the very thing they need is no longer there, and they have to just raise their hands and give up. They're outgunned, outmanned, out-argued. Where do they go from here? More delusion, or do they get woke up?
Okay, I don't know where they go or care. However, I can make the following statement. Without Earth curve, there is only the obvious and observable nature we all experience. The obvious and observable nature we all experience is a flat Earth. That aspect of our reality is flat. Now, we all experience it flat, and the extraordinary claim was that the horizon is Earth curve. And that is now debunked. I don't care where they go. The Earth is obviously, observably, and measurably flat. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
Nope.
Can't have one without the other.
Yeah, kind of a spinning ball Earth without a spinning ball with Earth curve. Correct.
That's what I was just gonna say. With that Earth curve gone, just say no to everything as usual.
Yeah, the answer for that should always be C question number 1.
Yeah, Black Swan could be the answer to all of these, so it seems to be transpiring. People are coming up with arguments that weave their way into Black Swan debunks space. Black Swan disproves axial rotation. Did we have Black Swan disproves molten iron core? I believe we did.
It has to.
That's
not a ball.
Speed of light.
So when Neil deGrasse Tyson,
Hold on, can you guys not hear Brian?
I hear him.
Yeah, Black
no, his
Swan.
speed of light was slow.
Yeah, Black Swan debunked the speed of light.
Right. They haven't got an AU anymore. Correct. Maybe we'll get into that. Let's get into it now. Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
It's over there,
Got to
shining
make a
bright.
couple of assumptions. If you
Well,
just
that's
make
part of the
the
geometric
assumption that
horizon.
we're on a sphere and then calculate the horizon and calculate the distance to Venus, if you assume that's about the same size as Earth, then you can calculate out the rest of the solar system. But unless you make those assumptions, you don't know what the sun is or how far away it is.
Yeah, how much more concisely
Gotta
Anthony can
think
say that
about
than
that.
me.
Nobody claims our
Hold on,
horizon is Earth.
hold on. Brian's being segued left and right. Hold on, Alwyn. So Anthony said that beautifully, and I would have inserted that there too, and I'm glad he did, because it was, until the interruptions, more concise. Go ahead, Brian. This is speaking to your point.
You have to formulate the speed of light that they did, the one they formulated. They have to take an average distance, because the speed of light is an averaged. It's not a definite, it's an averaged. An average distance throughout the year that the globe Earth is from the sun in the heliocentric model. And that distance starts with, pre-assuming you're on a globe, with a radius of 3959 miles. And that radius starts with a pre-assumption that it's possible to send a tangent to a geometric horizon, which you can't do because the geometric horizon doesn't exist. The horizon is a non-physical visual place only, and not a physical geometric location. So the speed of light is officially debunked by the Black Swan.
Correct. Without the R value, you can't derive an astronomical unit. You can't get the speed of light. Everything's debunked with the Black Swan. It's the biggest and best proof we have. Doesn't seem to be getting addressed by people who want to come and burn the straw man of perspective-only models nobody's claimed. Interesting, that. On screen for the audience is the geometric physical tangent point horizon, formerly known as Earth curve, that blocked the bottom of the Isle of Man in that discussion. That horizon, on screen, no longer exists to block the bottom of the Isle of Man or anything else that's asserted by these Earth curve calculators. The horizon's not physical, not an Earth curve edge, not getting in the way of anything. That's been debunked. And this calculator excludes perspective. Nice that Katz has brought up the fact that it doesn't include perspective by way of turning your view side on and including the side of your own head when looking at pictures like that picture of Blackpool Tower, where it definitely doesn't include the picture of the photographer's head. But yet when you put it side view, you can ascribe something that in scale would be the other side of the world in this view. But yet you can still keep something like a tower here at 100 feet or 100 meters, and then just claim that Earth curve edge physical horizons geometric Earth curve edges, now debunked by the Black Swan, were, as described in the Isle of Man, getting in the way when you exclude all aspects of perspective. All aspects, not one aspect you do with basic calculations on a piece of paper when you haven't measured any angular sizes, cats and co. Nevertheless, this horizon that is in your calculators, without perspective, thanks cats, is now debunked. You don't have this horizon anymore. It's not blocking the Isle of Man, and Rumpus has admitted it.
Hey guys. Yeah,
Hey,
not
Blacktoid.
to mention, they throw away the horizon now in the newest Black Swan, so...
Yeah, check out my breaking news video. It comes out at 8:15 tonight if you're watching this live or a member or what have you. Or yesterday if you're watching it on the re-up. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
Would you not first need...
Hold on.
Would you not first need
I have
the
a
sphere
question.
for the gravity?
Ooh, is that...
So did cats really concede that the calculator doesn't include perspective?
Katz has highlighted
No,
the
it
fact
was
that perspective...
It was Ruhif.
Really? So,
He did
so
it
the
tongue in
years
cheek.
that Nathan has been calling the calculator the proof of nothing, beg the question, perspective, hijack, and curve calculator, that's been proven to be right.
Well, it was tongue in cheek, but I don't know. I do have a presentation, Nathan, when you're ready. It's to do with Ranthie's claim and his picture. There's been a development that is definitely twofold, and it's huge that we need to be aware of, because it throws in the bin their whole argument. It obviously kills Ranthie's argument, but it kills the Ball Earth argument too, and it's over. So when we're ready, guys, let's get back to this. So, is there any evidence of the R value? No.
I'm happy to dispense with housekeeping. Just take a quick straw poll. Who wants Anthony's presentation over another rendition of housekeeping, given the...
Quantitative taste.
We can do two. We can do the both. We can just get through the housekeeping and
Okay.
then
No,
go
okay.
on to Anthony.
One each, I'll
I
just
like
do
the
it.
housekeeping.
It's quicker to do it than the straw poll now, Neil, sorry. Any evidence of scientific validity from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics?
No.
No, Danny Faulkner cannot be counted as a scientist.
What about Becky?
Dr. Becky? No, definitely not. She spends all the day in her pajamas, it seems.
What?
Lounging around the house. Got Life of Riley here, hasn't she?
We've covered the molten iron core in discussion, although it's not going to get asked as a question. So, last but by no means least, any evidence that you can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container?
That's insanity. We all be dead.
That's a no.
There's definitely no evidence of that. All we have is a belief that the sky is doing exactly that.
Well, my question is only in regards to gas pressure, intentionally. Does Earth have gas pressure?
Yes.
Oh, well, if the sky was a vacuum, as is claimed by globe-believing fundy idiots, then the gas we breathe would expand into that space and we'd all be dead. Therefore, the sky vacuum's fake.
So you're saying it's a dome over us, Nathan?
I didn't say that. I said we have gas pressure here. In fact, somebody on the panel told me I had gas pressure here. And gas is something that expands in all directions to fill the availability of volume, and space is claimed to be a volume, so gas would expand to fill it as per gas law.
But
Well, then how is the
couldn't there
gas
be an
staying here?
infinite gradient?
I don't know. Neil, I don't know how the gas would be staying here. I know we have gas pressure. And my question in the housekeeping has been very clear this whole time. How can you have gas pressure without a container? Well, that's a question about gas pressure. What's that you say? We have gas pressure here. Therefore, we must be contained, you say. That would be your conclusion, that we must have containment. Fundies who's tried to straw man me
Sorry.
with a dome. That don't work here.
Sorry, but does pressure not require a force or something pushing on physical barrier?
Calculated by way of the amount of volume it has. I don't make the laws. Right, Anthony.
Yeah.
You ignored my
All right.
question.
Oh, Alwyn, go ahead.
Can't there be an infinite gradient?
Well, can Earth as a sphere in a vacuum produce enough gas to ever expand into the infinitely expanding vacuum at such a rate that it never dissipated, but remained completely calm the entire time, even though the Earth was producing gas to constantly fill an ever-expanding sky vacuum. That's absolutely beyond absurd, Arwin.
No, but
I have a second.
hold on. I'm not done yet.
You asked
I'm
the
not
question. I
done
want to
yet.
answer it.
Go for it, go, bitches, go,
I'm not
go!
done yet.
I want to answer it as you.
Pull his hair, pull his hair.
Finished yet. Yeah.
So
what
Nathan
I was
answered the
saying
question you
is,
didn't ask.
God damn it, dude!
Go for the eyes. Go for the eyes.
Can I just have one uninterrupted?
Shout out to Godzilla. Oh, that was close. You need it at the end of the show. I almost stopped super chatting.
No one
don't
will answer your
understand the
fucking
super
question
chat.
because you're going to answer it yourself.
Thank you, Godzilla.
Mind
for
your
super chat.
tongues.
What I suggested is it's already expanded in the universe and it's gradiated. That was the idea.
Yeah, but that would put
False.
stop. That would put Earth at the center of the universe for a start. Something they definitely don't like on the globe side, and it would mean that we were the source of all gases of everything that was expanded into the ever-expanding universe that they claim on a globe Earth. So we'd have to be at the center, and we'd have to be the primary source of every gas that ever existed ever. It's absurd, Arwin. I'm sorry, you're never going to squeeze this into the
but it
narrative.
doesn't have to
Fucking
be.
beat me to it, Nathan, because Arwen is a dick. Thank you.
That's not Arwin's
No,
ace. How
come
dare
on,
you?
Dude,
You're
you
a dick.
literally interrupted me in the middle of my sentence
Ladies,
when I haven't even
come on,
finished
please.
it, like a rumpus.
Anthony's waiting, but yes, Arwin's point is valid, and it's worth asking because we get to point out how that argument is debunked because Arwin's
Right.
asked. So he is ace as much as he's irritating sometimes.
Excuse
So
me.
can I
was
answer it
one
in my
being
own way then?
interrupted in the middle of my sentence. Thank
he wants
you.
to.
You
Eli wants to
asked
answer
a
you.
question, I'm
Arwin.
damn near
I
begging
asked
to answer.
Nathan a
Arwin!
question.
Arwin, Eli wants to answer you now, so just don't rumpus him, and you'll have a proper discussion, hopefully.
That
ahead.
might make sense, right? If it was just Earth. But how is everything gradiated into a vacuum? Like, say, the sun, everything else that has gas.
Well, the same way.
But Nathan said it much better. I don't know. Whatever.
Can you show me a pressure gradient in a vacuum? Thank you.
Yes.
Go on then.
Can you show me something
Oh,
infinite?
he said yes. Go ahead then. Let's see it.
Well, just measure the gas pressure, one side of the vacuum chamber and then the other.
Right.
There's probably going to be a minor difference, although it might be so insignificant that the pressure
Pressure in a
detector might not
vacuum.
pick it up.
No,
There is
that's
no
wrong.
pressure in a vacuum. That's the point
No,
of
there's
the
just
vacuum.
very
an
little
oxymoron.
pressure in a vacuum.
Okay, can we move on, please? Please. I'm begging
No,
you.
I would destroy that argument.
It's nonsense. I've said it's nonsense. Arwin wants to persist.
Echo chamber, echo
I want to
chamber.
hear Anthony's presentation.
What the hell is going on? The day I
Arwin's
walk
just,
in, I get this.
Arwin's just having fun. Just let him.
Yeah,
I think he's trying to run the clock down, isn't
unless
he?
you want this to be an echo chamber where there's no descent possible anymore.
Descent
Out
from
there,
within the
vacuum.
ranks.
Is the echo chamber a vacuum?
I don't care. Right. Unless
No,
there's any
no,
other
it's not,
actual
because
stop.
in a
Stop.
vacuum,
Stop. Stop.
sound
Stop. Stop.
doesn't
Stop. Stop. Stop.
perpetuate.
Stop. Unless there's any other sky vacuum related points on this subject from Eli or Arwin, I'm going to move on. Is there? Think
I'm out of
fast.
gas. I can't talk anymore.
Think fast. Going once. Going twice.
I thought Arwen was about to make a point on the gradient within a vacuum.
Yes, I was trying, but apparently people don't want to hear about it.
You made a baseless assertion that there just would be a gradient if you measured it. That's a baseless assertion.
Well, I don't have a vacuum chamber to test it out right now.
Then don't
but-
make the claim then.
Then we shouldn't claim it then. Exactly.
Yeah,
Okay, can we
I've
move
never
on?
heard of a gradient in a vacuum
Can we move on?
because you have to have gas pressure. You can't have gas pressure in a vacuum.
Well,
We
then
can move on.
Radiate
So
gas.
that becomes an issue.
Not what wor- it's
Like,
not how
what
it
is the
works,
vacuum?
Arwen. It's
I'm
complete
being
utter
a bit
rubbish.
of a baller about this.
Rubbish.
Right?
We can
What is
move
a
on
vacuum?
so long as Arwen's done answering his own questions.
This
Right,
carries on
but
much
what
longer.
I suggest is that maybe the gradient is not uniform to Earth, and the Earth doesn't have to be the center. Maybe there are just multiple gradients everywhere, and they're all gradiating into each other.
Okay,
And the
maybe.
entire universe is a giant gradient.
Okay, guys, I don't want to have half an hour of your speculation on this, Arwen. Do you know that's the case? Or is it just maybe, because maybe it's unicorn farts? Who cares?
I'm just saying there is a possibility.
I don't care. Don't care. Right, that's definitely the end. I'm not going to have an hour of speculation on it. No, stop. Anthony, the clock is not going to get run down on this. Are you ready to present?
I'm shocked. I mean, we just spent, what, 10 minutes arguing?
Just don't do it yourself.
And we could be talking about something on topic. Come on, guys.
Don't
All
lecture
right.
them. Just let's do the presentation. Come on.
Am I presenting?
If you're on the bit of screen you want me to have it on, I'll put you up when you tell me.
Yeah, put it up now. I'm ready.
Hey, you're up.
Okay, so we're all well up to speed with this picture. It's claimed by Ranty that the mountains in the background are too, what does he say? They're too low for it to be a flat Earth.
No, stop.
So
stop. Let's just point out these things as we go. While Ranty might say it's too low to be a flat Earth, he's saying too low in reality to only be accounted for with perspective. So that's the straw man little bait and switch that they've got. So I'll get that out of the way immediately. Too low for a flat Earth? Nobody's claiming that. Nobody's said that this is going to be a certain height based on perspective-only models with flat Earth. Nobody's saying that. So if Ranty, who, correct me if I'm wrong, is a globe-believing clown, is saying that, then he's merely building a straw man to burn, because nobody's saying perspective only accounts for how the world presents itself. That's ludicrous and a straw man.
Correct.
Not to mention.
I'm the only one who's allowed to fundy mute Anthony. Go ahead, Anthony.
So Ranty appeared on Fight the Flat Earths, and he did not show this bit to the left. That bit was cropped off. I believe it was by conspiracy cats to basically hide the fact that there is stuff that's not obscured by the town of Blackpool, and we can see below. Now, obviously, that ensued lots of discussion about what this, that, and the other. But the whole point that we're focusing on is what is revealed by the bit that was cropped out, because that's where the horizon conversation comes from. And they don't want to talk about that. They want to talk about the heights of the mountains relative to the tower. The reason why I'm mentioning this is I'm going to come back to Ranty's point shortly. We've focused on this bit over here. And this bit over here became our focal point. And then what happened was me and Adam were having a conversation about some element of it. And we knew that the mound that was in the picture had turbines on it. And I'm just looking for the image that
as you're looking for that, coming up. Just as you're looking for that, which one of the 4 provided observer heights did you calculate this with?
19 feet I went with.
Why that one of the 4?
It was the one that was presented on Baldy Cat's show. That was the reference that I found it from.
And the other 3 that we've received?
Cats. I thought it was on Conspiracy Cats, and I didn't find it.
And what consideration is being given to the other 3 that we've been given so far?
None.
Okay, just want to clear that up. While we're here, guys, totally incompetent on your part. We've been given 4 different observer heights so far. Can't you actually figure out what the observer height is exactly? How difficult can it be? Sorry, Anthony, carry on. They're just incompetent globe side idiots, basically. I just want to get that in. 4 heights? My God. Carry on.
So we realised that this mound in the foreground shouldn't really be in the image if it's a sphere, because it's supposed to be behind the Earth curve. And remember Ranty's explanation for the mountains being considerably dropped? So we were obviously wondering, like, what's this mountain here, this mound? And Flatzoid put up a high contrast image, a bit like Ranty would have done back in the day. And I knew that there was turbines on this mound, and I wondered why I couldn't see them. Anyway, when Flatzoid put his high contrast image up, it dawned on me that we was looking at a turbine right in the middle of this picture. So anyway, I put out a video suggesting that this was the turbine, and Ranty responded with a response from through Brandon's channel, which I'm going to bring up now, which is this. And I just want to show this because this is brilliant. So from Brandon's, again, this came from Flatzoid. Toothpick Tony, is some information you might find helpful. Basically, Ranty says the wind turbine identified by Sleeping Warrior is part of the Kirby Moor wind farm, right? That's not what I identified it as. He says it can be found here. We're going to see that in a sec. Look at what he says. The hub height is 25 meters. Yeah, we're not asked about the hub height. We're on about the base that is like on the land, because that gives us a scale that we can use. The ground this turbine sits on is 266 meters above sea level, also known as its elevation. From the information visible about the turbine, it would strongly suggest that the land that the turbine sits on visually would intersect the horizon at 240 meters. This means that 240 meters of the mountain is below the horizon. This fits neatly into the curve mathematics of how much should be missing at the distance and an observer height of 12 meters, which I believe is nowhere near 19 feet. Anyway, thanks.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Correct me if I'm wrong. I heard Ranty was making an assertion in terms of the amount of feet would be obscured. Is that, correct me if I'm wrong, what you just stated Ranty is claiming now, given he's a globe believing fundy? Is that correct? He was giving the values in feet.
Yeah.
That's wrong. Let me just point that out. I'm sorry to interrupt, Anthony. Katz, Ruhif, Ranty, you are describing the angular relationships that everybody understands do occur. Yeah, even Father Ted understands this and can explain it to a clown called Dougal. Now, we are all in agreement that perspective is real, and for, thanks, Katz, about the 100th time since this particular piece of evidence came out by you to claim your straw man with just perspective, i.e. perspective something that's real, definitely real. Why are you giving values in feet and inches that do not change with distance? So you're just going to ignore perspective for this little proof? See, that's a massive problem. Thanks, Katz. You're going to need to do it in angular sizes, Ranty. What is your malfunction?
Right. Just let me get through this. Come on. So what I want to show now is, obviously, we've got this little monument on the corner. It's very obvious to look at. I've got 3 lines on screen. Now, when I was doing this research to this turbine that I knew was on the mountain, I looked for turbines on the mountain and I wanted to know which turbine it actually was. Now, there's an unbelievable coincidence in this, and I don't know whether Ranty spotted this or not, but I'm assuming he didn't. But when I was doing my research, I found this much lower turbine at this elevation here, which I'm not sure Ranty spotted, but it's right on one of the lines of sight and it fits perfectly. It's like, depending on where he was in the car park, this turbine could be the one we're looking at. Now, I don't think it is. It's only at 224 feet, but it could be. But I ruled it out because I thought that's too low, that it would be obstructed by the actual base that the little mini Stonehenge is sat on. It's too low, so I ruled it out. So I went a bit further up to see was there anything else behind it, and I got to obviously this one here. Now, there's a valid question that people say, well, why could you not see the other 3 or 4 that are around it? Why just that one? I'm going to show you why in a sec. But this is the one that Ranty's identified that he thinks it is. And it's this back one of these 4 that are here. So I'm going to show you why it's not these 4. I'm going to show you why it is why it is this one. And it's all to do with the topography of the land. And once I've shown this, I'm then going to take it back to Ranty's overall point, because this is devastating, not so much to Ranty's argument, but to the argument that we live on a sphere. I'm going to turn the topography up to 3 so that it exaggerates the topography so that you can see the point. And once it's exaggerated, it becomes obvious why it is that Ranty cannot be correct and I am correct. So what we'll do is we'll go back onto the line of sight now that I've got to the elevation thing exaggerated. And what I'm going to do when I get to it is, bear with me while I get to it. There. So this is the one that I think it is, and Ranty's is behind it, right? So what I'm going to do is bring the camera down, and then I'm going to tip up to the horizon if I can. And then I need to spin it around so that it goes around the other way, because I'll need to be looking backwards, don't I, so that you guys can see whether or not it's likely to be this one or not. But as you can see, there's the one that I'm saying it is, and you can see that it's got pretty much a clear line of sight. Even with exaggerated elevation, it's got a clear line of sight to the observation point that we're at, apart from this thing that's here. But it's a clear line of sight. That's the key point to observe. So now what I want to do is point to Ranty's one that he claims it is. Now, I want to show you the elevation or the angle of observation, right? Look, a bit too low, about there. Is there a clear line of sight? The horizon is in the shot. Is there a clear line of sight to it? No. Why? Because there's topography in the way. So Ranty's one has to be like a mile high to be able to see past this, and it's not got a clear line of sight. Now, this basically debunks the argument that Ranty's making that I got the wrong turbine, which in itself is great for me, not great for Ranty. But there's a bigger issue here, which is what I want to focus on. If I go back to this image, we can see that the mountain that we're seeing in the foreground has the turbine on it. We know the base is at 700 feet, but we know the curve calcs affect what we see because this is their model that they calculate for. And Ruhif agrees with me that this turbine is correctly identified. So Ranty and Ruhif are in dispute. Ruhif didn't call Ranty out on it or correct anybody. He allowed everybody to think that Ranty might be correct, so he confused everybody. So I just want people to be aware of that. But this turbine, this top, the tips of these mountains are basically 3,000 feet. This is 1,000 feet, and the base of this is down at 700 feet. So we know that we're actually seeing 700 feet of land that we shouldn't be seeing. Now, on the curve calcs, when you put in this distance of this mountain, it's 40 miles away, and 1,000 feet of it is basically missing due to geometric curve. Even if you have the refracted amount, it's still not enough. But we're seeing loads of it. Now, I've had this out with Ruhif, and Ruhif acknowledges that this is seen at 700 feet, but he doesn't acknowledge that this, on their model, according to their mathematics and all that nonsense that they talk about, this would have to be below the horizon and blocked by this land here, and it shouldn't be seen. Yet he thinks that it's okay to completely ignore this. Now, this is where we go back to Ranty's bigger picture. Let's bring this back into play here, because we are seeing below the 700 feet of the mountain there. Ranty's claim is that the mountains are sat too low and it's due to the drop or the hidden, whichever. I think he means hidden, not drop. Well, if that's the case and we're seeing way below the 700 feet, then A, his claim's wrong in the first place, but B, it's clearly being squashed up in the same way that it's being squashed down. Because if he says it's too low in his opinion from the top, and we can demonstrate that it's not being dropped behind the curve because it's all there, then basically it's being squashed up. And that made me think, what is it that causes that? Because it's as if it's being squashed from the bottom up, being squashed from, pushed up. And what else could squashing it from the top down? And I thought, hang on a minute, it's just like the sextant. The sextant doesn't work 15 degrees above the horizon because they say refraction. But we know it's because of convergence and maybe a bit of refraction. But mainly they say it's refraction. Well, this proves that Ranty's position is wrong, because not only is the mountain too low in his opinion, it's not being dropped behind the curve because it's prominently there. It's all there. So it's not Earth curve that's causing it. And all of it's being squashed because of the same reason why the sextant doesn't work at 15 degrees above the horizon, because we're looking down a tunnel, essentially. We're looking down a tube. Now, Ruhif will not acknowledge this. Ruhif completely ignores that the turbine is not sat behind the horizon. He thinks it's completely okay. But this proves that the horizon, A, is in miles in the wrong place, like Black Swan always shows, but that there's nothing down to drop. So Ranty's whole reason for defecting to the globe is based on his perception, his opinion, that he thinks that the mountains are too low due to the drop of the Earth. But it's demonstrably not due to the drop, because there is no drop. So whatever the reason is, we don't have to explain. We've just got to show that it's not drop. So this matter now is basically closed because it isn't down to drop, and Ranty was wrong. Now Ranty's jumped ship. Okay, you can have Ranty, but it's not down to the drop, is it? Because that claim is now considered to be debunked.
Sorry, the drop, and you described them as describing it as behind Earth curve horizon? That's debunked. Yeah. That's debunked. They no longer have a physical geometric sphere edge for a horizon formerly known as Earth curve. It has been debunked. And you mentioned that, obviously, the black swan in this image. Yeah, this image is a black swan, a globe Earth killer. Again, it's not really been highlighted. A couple more questions. You used a model, Anthony. Can you draw out a flat Earth elevation profile for the observation for me? Is that possible? In our model, certainly, with a straight line. I just want to clear... Go on.
So I'll use my one that's here because that was in yellow, and there's a flat Earth model, and you can see once it gets into the right place. So on this model, it's gone back to front because I've drew the line in back to front. But you can see down here, this is the observation, and then we've got. Actually, I don't know why that drops down there below sea level, but for some reason it does that. But then it goes right the way up across here. That's a bit weird. I don't know why that's done that. Must be picking. That's changed. That was flat as a pancake the other day. But anyway, someone's changed our model for us. But then we've got like this peak here, which is where the turbine sits. We've got another peak behind it somewhere, and then we've got another peak at the back. But that's our flat Earth model, Nathan.
Thank you very much. That's precisely what I wanted to highlight. So obviously, this model that we are utilizing currently is displaying no drop in this side profile representation of the elevations of the land, and there is no drop. Very quick to measure, and there it is. On screen for the audience, the flat world we dwell atop, with no drop. So this is, as pointed out over the last couple of years, our model. Now also the line, do you see that line that Anthony's got in the middle of the page? I don't know what colour it is, yellow I assume. That one that's running up and down the page, not the bottom one, the one that's running up and down vertically, sort of at a slight angle, that one. Yep. That is straight. Now obviously on a globe, you've got always refraction. Always bent lines, never a straight line, because it's always refracted, it's standard. Now, obviously, that means this isn't capable of ever being used to make any globe Earth claims in regards to drops, sphere Earth claims of Earth curve horizons. None of it comports with how they claim the Earth works when you exclude perspective in there begging the question. Proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator. This model doesn't comport with that at all. It does, on the other hand, demonstrate a flat Earth, which is why we will be using it moving forward, precisely as we have during the Isle of Man discussion and since. It's just since we've been pointing out that there's no perspective in your Earth curve calculator and no straight lines to acquire if everything's always bent, this model's definitely not yours. And we've been told how not yours it is, it's definitely not your globe model. If we need to trim out all of those fundies telling us how not your globe model it is, then I'll do that. But this is our model, and it's showing the world as flat, which is precisely how it is. Utilised by professionals on a daily basis to build things. Google Earth Pro, check it out. And it represents the world as flat. This will be our model. And here's the elevation profile. They claim there's drop. Ranty saying the world's dropping away. No, it's not. There it is, measured flat. No drop, Ranty. Where is it? Certainly isn't represented here in Google Earth. It's flat. So, you want to do some basic trig on a picture when you haven't got any actual angles measured, in reality, with sextants or theodolites. You're going to do that from a picture where you can't even see the base of the mountain, it's obscured. How rudimentary your mathematical understanding is. Meanwhile, us flat earthers have got a very comprehensive model. Where's your equivalent of this flat earth model we show? That's been charged about a week ago. Where is it? You're always barking on about your bloody model. Here's ours. Where's yours, Fundy? This definitely isn't it. We've been told how isn't it? Yours is, right? Yours isn't your globe model in this. It's flat. There it is on screen. Eat it up.
So can I just reiterate, Ranty's claim is now debunked. Okay, that's the position. It's now considered to be debunked. It isn't down to the drop. It's because it's all being squashed up. I'm done.
Shout out to Godzilla again. He says, every day the housekeeping questions go unanswered. Tons of holes in their model. Ranty sees one photo, and for him, it discards it all. He is not stupid. Ranty is and always was a snake. No other option. That's your opinion. Thank you very much for the super chat.
The minute Ranty jumped ship, all of a sudden, overnight, he suddenly became honest in the perception of the ballers just because he jumped ship. He's been dishonest for all that time, but the minute he changes his position, he now becomes honest. Sounds a lot of that, doesn't it?
Or Riley, then can you answer me why he keeps rage quitting when I talk to him?
I don't know.
Because you know good arguments to debunk his position, and that's terrifying.
I put the 3 photos there, Anthony, into Master B. 2 of them have stamps on them, so I don't know if they can be looked at on Nathan's show. But I put them in there. You might get some interesting landmarks out of it, just to continually support what you're doing, because they're taken from Blackpool Beach to the mountains. So the landmarks, just so you can see some landmarks on them and match them up. There's one there I think is match up very well with something I saw the other day. And I just want to say, there's a very easy way for Ranty or anyone else to support this claim. And it's the very thing I told Miles Davis to do years ago. And I told other people as well to do it with the Mount San Jacinto photograph. It's very easy. Just go up the top of the mountain and take a photograph back the way. And if Blackpool Tower is in your shot, then you have an argument. But if your shot is over that Blackpool Tower, then I don't know what you're going to do. Do you know what I mean?
There's a problem with that.
Well, not really, because if the Earth if it's like with the whole Miles Davis thing, right? If he went up to the top of that hill, Kernock Hill, and took a photograph back the way, would the bridge stanchion be in his eye line? No, that's what he never did.
The reason I say there's a problem, Brian, is because there's an actual community that does this as a hobby, you can say, that they try and take pictures from Dalcraig back to Blackpool, and most of the time they can't even see Blackpool from there.
Yeah, but there's not a problem with my argument, though, Flatside. You said there was a problem with that. My argument is solid.
No, for the ball. No, for the Globers.
Oh, that's okay. No, my argument is solid. I'm just reiterating that. Because, I mean, how many times, it's countless times I said to Miles Davis, have you gone up to Kernock Hill and taken a photograph back towards Traprain Law and saw the bridge stanchion in the way of your shot? He never did it. Why? Kernock Hill is not only a hill, it's not even a mountain. Why did you never do it? Because you know the results are not going to be right. He's not going to see the bridge.
Brian, I mean, I gotta be honest, standards have heavily dropped since then. I mean, literally, they can't even acquire an observation height that's accurate. They can't even figure out how high the camera was. We've had 4 heights so far. One of them was using our model that shows it flat. They're not still using that. That wasn't the height you just gave, was it, Anthony? That wasn't the Google Earth height, was it still? Surely not.
Yeah, I believe it was 19 feet.
You have got to be... You let me go... Let's just take a breath. You mean you went through that entire presentation with the height that is claimed to be proving their bullshit straw man that we've already debunked a week ago was taken from a model that shows Earth as flat and has no drop in it? You've got to be joking me.
That's what was claimed on Baldy Cats' show.
Oh my God.
Meters now. Randy's saying 12 meters is the camera height these days.
Oh, is that a 5th height?
No, that's the 4th one.
Oh, that was the 4th one. Oh my God, this is getting more and more pathetic by the day. Globetards, hello? Yeah, you need to actually figure out how high the camera was. I mean, we're already into the claim now. My God, this is pathetic.
Do you guys know that even Kevin said himself he never used a tripod? He was just standing with it in his hand. It was a fluke shot.
Oh, well, we need to know exactly how high his hands were, and we can't even figure that out. How's he supposed to give us that information?
I have another question. It's sort of on topic to this, and it has to do with what Adam Meakin showed with the ramping scales. Have they responded to that at all, or even tried to?
You've got to beg in the question, proof of nothing, perspective hijacking Earth curve calculator, that when they transition to assertions that Earth curve has made things drop, giving them that little bit of edge where they don't have to assert an Earth curve edge horizons blocking things. Well, given that when they make those claims, they're still giving it in feet and inches that doesn't change with distance. What do you think, John?
I'm pretty sure they didn't, right? I just
no.
want to point that out.
Definitely not. Their calculator, nice that they're talking about perspective and everyone understands it's real. We've got people like Kosho telling us they're here to educate us about perspective that is excluded when they go and use feet in inches or meters that doesn't change with distance. Thanks, cats, by the way. Hashtag thanks, cats.
Yeah, Adam's scaling showed it changing with distance. That was beautiful. I thought that was
yeah, because things that are further away get even smaller. So you can't just stick a ruler on a page and expect the things to be scalable. Yeah, you need actual angular size measurements. They just did it on a bit of paper in an orthographic manner with the actual heights that they'd got, presumably from our model. Sounds like it. They went to a flat Earth model, Google Earth, that's showing it and having professionals use it as the Earth presents itself, flat, no drop. My God, these people are so incompetent. You should feel ashamed if you're following these idiots on the globe site. You should feel ashamed of their presentations in this regard. It's absolutely abhorrent if you're a globe believer. You should be disgusted in them. Hey, Adam. Happy days.
Oh, it's all good, isn't it?
The Adam Meakin.
Can
uh,
everyone mute so I can say hello to Adam?
Had a nice message this morning from Rui. And we did that presentation, didn't we, quite nicely? And he sent me a better image. Doesn't have the art of fell in the background, which was obviously confusing for us retards. And he's put another ruler on it. This time it's lower down. What I found interesting with his stuff was that after doing that kind of seminar, he did a video yesterday, and it appears that the proof of the curvature is solely based in another ruler. And it's a ruler that he goes to great lengths to convert in terms of angular sizes into pixels. But that seems to be the crux of what he's doing. He's now converted, instead of centimeters or the Mickey Mouse rulers I was putting on, his new ruler is now pixels, number of pixels. And this is where the Earth curve is to be contained. Because in the straw man model, if the Earth was flat, then it would only have 2,000 pixels. And as you can see, some of them have got more than that. Therefore, it must be a ball, which is one of the weakest arguments I've ever heard for ball. To be honest with you.
Sorry, sorry, I don't know if you heard, Adam. We just literally covered this before you joined. So he's sticking a ruler on it. So completely ignoring the fact that we've demanded the observed angle, which is what you'd require for these things. And they've ignored the fact that in terms of their claim of the mountain, they can't even acquire it from the picture if they claim they can, which they can't, because of the problem you highlighted immediately, that there's a scaling issue.
Exactly. Yeah, but it's odd that we've gone back to that, called us stupid, and put a new ruler on, which has units of pixels as opposed to units of centimeters as the ruler was representing. But fundamental principle is there's no difference there. You've just tried a bit of bait and switch to show, it's a different looking ruler. This doesn't look like a ruler, it's pixels. But it's still representative of a scale, a linear scale within that you're taking from the image. You're extracting that data from the image. You're implying, and hopefully as I demonstrate on Saturday, something you can't do, which is to have any relationship between point A and point B. There is no scale you can build.
But that's for a straw man, right? The straw man that they're trying to burn and claim that that's how flat Earth represents itself, when nobody has claimed that. It's merely their straw man that they're building, right?
Yeah. That was the crucial point, wasn't it? Is that they wanted to make us accept this straw man. That was for them to then knock down.
Yeah. We dealt with that immediately, though. I mean, we're rehashing stuff here, Adam. We've immediately demolished that. So this is Ruhif, right?
Yeah.
See, handy that Ruhif's part of this discussion, because he was at the Isle of Man discussion drawing tangents to horizons that were claimed to be Earth curve. And the whole point of the Isle of Man discussion was to prove that there was an obstruction of the Isle of Man called Earth curve. And to prove it, they drew a straight line to it. Now, we've got a whole bunch of people telling us that that's not Earth curve, right? That actually the horizon we see is a holographic projection, like the targets that they told us were refracted because of their position with respect to that tangent horizon that they all claimed, including Ruhif. Now, tonight I've got a video that's coming out, breaking news, because this little cats and code debacle has debunked every Earth curve calculator as a direct consequence. And Ruhif is one of the people that came and claimed he was proving Earth curve by drawing a tangent to a horizon that is now not capable of having that maths performed on it because he hasn't got a straight line to it if it's refracted. So Ruhif, my friend, I keep putting up the same slide with your ugly mug, and the tangent you drew to the horizon you thought you were proving in the Isle of Man discussion as being Earth curve physically getting in the way. Nobody claims the horizon is Earth curve, Ruhif, except you and Cats and Rumpus and every other fundy that claimed Earth curve got in the way of the Isle of Man by way of that calculator. Same as every other Earth curve calculator that is now void, Ruhif. That tangent you drew to that horizon in those discussions is void. Your assertions that Earth curve got in the way of the Isle of Man, void. Every Earth curve calculator has been avoided as a direct consequence of Katz and Co.'s actions. And Ruhif, what's he going to do? Deny that he claimed the Isle of Man had an Earth curve tangent horizon getting in the way? It's the thing they were trying to prove. So go ahead and deny it while everybody around you tells us that the horizon's not Earth curve. So definitely not your assertion it was blocking the Isle of Man, Ruhif. That's a very big problem now, isn't it? And I'm here to highlight it. Maybe the consensus of the cheering crowds around your bigger channels will keep you from losing sleep, cats. I doubt it. Given that you've all drawn tangents to horizons that don't exist anymore, to claim they do exist as Earth curve. Big problem, lads. Yeah, your flat Earth that you're trying to burn as a straw man isn't anything anyone's claimed. That was dealt with a week ago. We're on to the much bigger issue of the black swan in the Blackpool swan and how it debunks any assertions ever made by the Earth curve calculator, including ones made by Ruhif himself. Oh, how epic. Hashtag thanks, cats.
Game over.
Nathan.
Yes. Go ahead, Brian.
Is Tony there?
He is.
Tony?
Yo.
Them trenches, I picked up on that and I asked Bev about it, and apparently they had a big program of dredging out the shipping lanes, and that's why they've got that 3 meter dip or so in the profile.
It's weird because I did it backwards to see whether it changed when I did it the same run but backwards, and for some reason it doesn't show the trenches in it when I do it backwards, but it does the other way. It's
Thank you very much for clarifying that, Brian, because that was a bit of an anomaly. I didn't want left hanging. So kudos.
Yeah,
just before you carry on.
Red flag up for me.
Yeah.
It did put a red flag up for me, and that's why I checked with Bear. But it's only short apparently. So if you're just to the side of it, it wouldn't be showing on the profile.
Let me get it straight. The flat Earth map we're using to represent the world flat and with no drop as it presents itself is so accurate that they've even got, if you move a slight bit to the left, I forgot the word you used, trawled out, drudged out. What did you use the word? Dredged trawler lanes. So the dredged trawler lanes are in the flat Earth representation with no drop, but the drop isn't the very thing they're claiming. How ironic.
Yeah.
Pretty good map you got there.
Well done, good job.
Pretty good map you got there, Anthony. Flat Earth map.
Yeah,
no drop.
Seems to be reliable, doesn't it? Seems to be accurate.
Pretty good. Definitely doesn't have any drop in it, though, if you were to assert like they are in this claim. What a weird thing to do, to then go and get the heights from a map that doesn't have drop in it. What a weird thing to do. Idiots.
That's because straight lines and horizontal lines don't curve.
Yeah, those are all things in the Google Earth map that we will be using moving forward, given that it presents things with straight lines of sight, not always curving at standard rates of 7/6 of the radius, which is their claim. Not with geometric tangent point horizons that somehow move their position to no longer be claimable in an Isle of Man discussion as Earth curve getting in the way. Oh, how epic. Anyway, let's read out a few super chats. Happy days all round and all that. Shout out to James Richards. When standing at one end of the basketball court, you can see all of the lines painted on the court. If you place your eyes directly on the court, you will not see all of them. It's the angle of sight. Right, and check out my full-on playlist called Angle of Attack, where people show exactly that. Perspective. Oh, right, why is it they're only using angular sizes when there's many aspects to perspective, all demonstrated? I've got a whole playlist. You'd think, given that I'm sure I've been mentioned, I don't watch, I'm just guessing, I'm sure I've had a mention at some point, that they'd realise that everybody has previously talked about the angle of attack that we claimed. You know, the limitation of the angle versus the deck, not just the angular size. There's many aspects to perspective. Why would it be that you would use such a crude example based on your very obvious, crude understanding of perspective when we've got lists of things that we've detailed it with? Yet you pick one pathetic little aspect to burn as a straw man? How humiliating! And how quickly it was undone by us. But absolutely right, and thank you very much for the super chat, James Richards. Also, shout out to Mike808, boom, 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 who just gives me money and says GG with his hippo. Thank you very much indeed.
I just want to do it. I just want to do a shout out to Brian Mabbitt, who always keeps it down with reality. There's no BS with that man. I listen to him all the time on Brandon's. He keeps it real all the time. He doesn't go into nonsense. He keeps it real. So shout out to Brian.
I just want to echo that. Brian Mabbitt managed to get Bob to admit that if you pulled the little thing down, what would happen to it? And Bob said it'd go up, and he said no further questions. And Bob still didn't understand the point. Shout out to that man.
Yep, I remember that. That was dope.
And just a quick hello.
correct.
Just a quick hello to Quantum Eraser. Hello, Quantum Eraser.
Hey, Kiwi.
Thanks, lads.
Good morning. Just wanted to make sure before we close out that we've got Ranty, Mr. CGI Birds on Numpty Clips today at 2 p.m., 8 p.m. in UK on the Quantum Eraser channel. Don't miss this one, folks.
How long's the clip?
About 15 minutes.
Perfect. So straight after the Quantum Eraser numpty clip, I've got the globe annihilation that was Rumpus trying to defend these complete idiots, Cats and Co. And basically annihilating every single globe Earth calculation that's ever been asserted to prove Earth curve is a geometric horizon, as discussed in the Isle of Man. So thanks to Cats, the Rumpus came here and annihilated every Earth curve calculation he's ever used to claim Earth curve is the horizon. As he's very much done, feel free to check out all the early debates where they all sat telling us that Earth curve was getting in the way and drawing straight tangents to it. That's all gone by the wayside. Did I say? Hashtag thanks, Cats.
Said Cats and Co. I like that name.
So check that out.
Cats
Comes out
and
straight.
I think the end of the show.
So straight after Numpty Clips, that's on Nathan Oakley 1980 channel. Breaking news, check it out, and that's at 8:15. So I'll spam the link in Quantum Eraser's channel once his video is finished, and then come and watch it. And then straight after, there's an uncut after show that goes out on my second channel. As we're live, I might as well plug my stuff as well. Anyone else want to plug anything before I round out and ask people to stay tuned if they're watching on a premiering stream?
Yeah, I'm debating Ranty. I'm debating Ranty. I don't.
Ranty.
Don't rumpus him. Don't rumpus him. Go ahead. It's big news. Go ahead, Brian. Plug.
Yeah, I'm debating Ranty on Brandon's channel. I'm not sure which night. It's either tonight or tomorrow night, but I said I'd say it now in case it is tonight because I haven't seen confirmation yet.
Okay,
Make sure you ask him about the toothpick turbine, see if he now concedes.
Don't worry about it.
We'll get into that in the after show. I just want to shout out Rakia Life. So wait, are you saying horizontal lines don't curve? Thanks, Bev. Okay, and thanks, Bev. Epic. With that, I'm going to say if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you're watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who smashed the super chat, joined us on Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member, and all that good stuff. Below this video, you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on a premiering stream. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!